All right, guys, welcome to the second League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. I'm your host, Cyrus. With me, as always, is Leon. And tonight, our special guest is our friend Jason, a local filmmaker and just an all-around decent type of fellow. Hey, Jason.
Howdy.
Well, besides being a local filmmaker, he's apparently somebody who's often asked to guest star on other podcasts.
Yeah, so we find out now. It's like, I feel like sloppy seconds over here.
No, I'm like
fourths.
I'm like the Fonzie of podcasts. I just kind of show up, everyone applauds. They're like, oh, it's like when Fonzie showed up on what was it? Laverne and Shirley.
Much like Fonzie, you just jumped the shark.
I did. Thanks.
Yeah, why don't you hit a jukebox on your way out, make turn it on.
All right, so I want to do kind of like they did in the old Daily Show days, the 5 questions for our guest every week to start things off.
Oh, that's a good way to start this.
Exactly.
All right.
First question for you, Jason. What is your all-time favorite movie and a brief why?
All-time favorite movie, well, being a 30-something, young 30-something-year-old male, it's Empire Strikes Back. Of course, I'm kind of obligated to say
Really,
that.
dude? Because that's the one that George Lucas doesn't like.
Really? well, that should tell you something, shouldn't it? That just kills me every time I hear that. No, I like it, and not particularly because it's dark, but I think it's got some good lines. It really fleshes out the relationship. There are a lot of great action sequences.
It doesn't bother you that there's so much of it that totally betrays the first Star Wars movie?
How so?
Well, clearly in the first movie, Luke and Leia aren't sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Brother and sister.
Oh, yeah. Lucas claims to have that all planned out, but there's no way.
But,
there's no way. If he did, he's a creep.
I think it's better now. It's hot now when you watch Star Wars. It's like, ooh, kinky.
You're grossing me out.
Well, I guess maybe that doesn't get revealed to the third. No, it's in the second one it gets revealed, but it's just funny how in the first half of Empire Strikes Back, he's just like jonesing to get in Leia's pants.
Oh, they've got the kiss?
Yeah, he's pissed off at Han. He's all jealous and shit. Well, I guess Tatooine is like space Kentucky.
Space West Virginia.
Yeah.
And that's West Virginia.
You sure got a pretty droid.
All right, which actress at any point in time would you nail if you could?
Wow.
You've been given a time machine.
Yeah.
Now somebody's already gone back and killed Hitler and freed the slaves and made sure Lincoln didn't get killed.
And killed George Lucas in, like, 1991, right?
Sure.
Okay.
So now you got the time machine and you can nail any actress in any period in time.
That's good. That's a good one. I'm going to go with, and this will change by the next time you ask me, but I'm going to go with Ursula Andress from Dr. No.
Oh,
Nice
okay.
answer.
Okay, good answer. I was thinking you were going to go with Raquel Welch from 10,000 BC, but
That's a good one.
too.
Yeah.
That's a very
I'm
good
kind of
one.
strange. I like weird, quirky, funny women, and I always say Shirley MacLaine in The Apartment.
dude,
Yeah.
I was so going to say Shirley MacLaine, not The Apartment, but like How to Marry a Millionaire.
Okay, well, that same era.
Right. She was so unbelievably hot in that
my
time.
God.
And like you don't think of her that way, but like you see those movies and it's you have to like put it on pause for a little bit.
I'm going to change my answer to Shirley MacLaine and Steel Magnolias.
Oh, okay.
Weezer. There's a reason they call her Weezer.
There's a mom fixation happening here.
Okay.
So you
Moving on.
Your dad's still okay, right?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's
Next.
fine. I did stab my eyes out with a brooch.
What license would you most like to see get adapted into a film?
Oh, one that's already about to happen, actually. Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim.
Who's that?
Scott Pilgrim, a little indie comic by a guy named Brian Lee O'Malley. Edgar Wright's actually doing it. It is a slacker Canadian guy in a band called Sex Bob-omb. It's a little black and white collected. They're releasing graphic novels, and there's 4 of them, and it's.
Man, get Dennis Miller over here with the obscure reference.
It's a very good, very funny comic about a video game obsessed loser in Canada trying to get his act together, and there's all sorts of weird, quirky things. He has to fight his new girlfriend's 7 evil ex-boyfriends.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Cyrus,
yeah.
It sounds like they just ripped off your life.
I know, right? I was going to say, he just needs to learn some animation and start a website.
It's good stuff. It's really good. But Edgar Wright, it's on his plate, and he's supposed to adapt it. I think that's perfect.
Hey, that better come after Ant-Man.
I think it is,
Okay.
actually.
Because I'm excited about Ant-Man.
Now, is
Me
this-
too.
Ant-Man, just tangent here. Is this the one he's doing? Is this Hank Pym
Ah,
Ant-Man?
see,
or
or Scott Lang?
Or Scott Lang?
Oh,
Possibly both of them.
Okay.
The last thing I read was that he was looking at maybe putting both of them in.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
So
that's
I mean,
kinda cool.
I keep hearing this new comic, the Irredeemable Ant-Man.
Right. I haven't read that, so I don't know which
See, well,
Ant-Man
that's-
that is.
I don't even think that's either one of them.
That's what I was
some
thinking,
new
too.
guy, and he's a total douchebag.
Yeah, they need to knock it off with the new guys.
It's a humor comic, apparently.
Yes.
But it's
He's a
been
total
getting great
self-serving
reviews.
ass.
Okay.
That's right, because they killed Scott Lang.
Yeah.
They could get Corey to play that.
As long as they have a Bill Foster cameo, I'm all right with it.
Okay, what comic book are you most embarrassed to have totally loved when you were a kid?
Oh, you know I have an answer to this one. I've just got to totally loved when I was a kid.
I'll start it off here just to help you
Yeah,
out. Mine
good.
is Power Pack.
I knew you were going to say Power Pack.
I, even when I read them now, I'm like, oh, I cringe reading them. I still get those little twinges of, oh yeah, that was cool. Wait, what am I saying? This is so stupid.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually had a pretty big love for the Star Wars Marvel stuff, which was pretty damn bad.
Was it? Because I seem like to remember that being like, well remembered.
Some of it was good. But they weren't allowed to touch a lot of the stuff. Lucas was like, all right, this, and this was off limits. So they had the ability to take Lando Calrissian and have him go to some planet no one's ever heard of in the Star Wars mythology,
Right.
So there was some bad stuff in there.
Well,
And
Lucas was clearly not paying attention for a while with some of the third-party stuff, because have you ever read Splinter of the Mind's Eye? Where Luke and Leia
Where, like,
have
Luke-
sex?
Yeah.
and Han gets that gem that turns him into a Jedi or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
something
that.
Is that right?
Yeah, I read it when I was like in junior high.
I mean, I'm like going from the most distant, vague memories of it. If I remember reading it and going, okay, and then Empire was even more shocking to me, because I'm like, well, wait, because I loved Splinter when it came out.
I remember Splinter being a huge book.
It was a big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Dean Foster.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is the captain of the good
The-
ship, cheap novelizations.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. The go-to guy for novelization.
All right, last question. You are a filmmaker, as we previously discussed, and let's say you were like, I mean, you're Spielberg, you're whoever. You can get any project you want and to do yourself. What project would you do yourself? What would you love to adapt personally?
Oh, wow. My nerdiness is showing. A D&D
That's what
movie
we're here
without Marlon Wayans, you know?
A D&D movies?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would only be interested if it was based on the D&D cartoon.
See, that's actually one that I would love to do, is like a flash forward to, some of the kids escaped the realm, some decided not to leave, and they're all adults now. And,
Yeah.
Something kind of...
Oh, wait, they already made that movie. It was Chronicles of Narnia. Never mind.
Oh, there's a new piece of news that came out from
Oh.
New York Comic Con.
Oh, go for
with
it.
Joe Quesada, who's the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics right now.
Oh,
Hey, Fisto?
Captain Fuckhead?
Yeah, Captain Fuck.
Oh, we haven't talked about that yet, Leon.
We
did
talked about
last
it last week.
Yeah, you and I haven't talked about
That's
it.
true.
so-
But everybody hates this guy because he rewrote the Spider-Man and made it where he was never married to Mary Jane, and all this stuff changed, and it's totally retarded. A lot of people feel like it's a betrayal.
Oh, it's a total betrayal.
Yeah, since I can't remember when it was that originally he got married, like 83 or 82.
Yeah, it was like it was between like 83 and 86, somewhere around in there. So he has been married for as long as or longer than he was single.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay, so it's a key factor of the character at
Yes.
this point. Well, Quesada decided, despite the protests of pretty much everyone at Marvel and all the fans, that, well, I want to end this because Spider-Man's more interested as a single person.
Not.
No.
Not exactly.
Not at all.
He's wrong. He's more interesting because how many heroes even have to deal with this? He's different because of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Quesada, when it happened, there was a list of things in an issue that said, this is what's changed, including stuff like there's no more Venom. Things like that. Like, it never happened. Like, all this other stuff
He
has
said
changed.
that?
Oh, it's actually printed.
Yeah,
It's
it's
actually
printed.
printed in an issue. Well, he now at New York Comic Con was asked about this, and he responded, no. The only thing that changed was the marriage never happened. Other than that, everything is exactly the same. Which is like, dude, we know you like to rewrite history.
Sure.
But you actually printed this in the comic, and we can go find it and go, no, dude, you said very specifically right here.
I was not aware of that. I want to fight him right now. I want to challenge him to Jim Cotta.
It's like, screw
to a
you,
duel.
Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
But
I want to see him ripped apart by ravenous hobos.
The thing is, the guy is really not steering the ship right now.
No.
Who is?
I don't know, but clearly not him. I mean, he had such a strong hand in the direction Marvel went. I mean, they were gone off the rails, and he really came in and saved the company, pulled it back up, made all the comics good, put Brian Michael Bendis in charge of most of the comics, Michael J. Straczynski in charge of the rest of them, got everything like, wow, this is better than they've ever been. And now suddenly he's had this brain fart, and it's totally just running off the rails.
Rule number 1, Peter Parker would never make a deal with the devil. Rule number 2, Peter Parker would never make a deal with the devil.
And now he's saying something like, oh, did you notice that there's a period of time between like when Mary Jane kisses him and when he wakes up? There's a lapse in time. I wonder what happened during that lapse. I'm like, I don't, because I'm not reading that fucking comic book anymore.
Yeah,
Joe
I don't read
Quesada
anymore.
is Mephisto. That's
I mean, if I could think in for one thing, it's like, well, hey, that's less money I have to spend every month. People have, like, taken me to task over liking Spider-Man 3. I don't simply like Spider-Man 3. I love it. And part of what makes me like Spider-Man 3 is that I really don't like Spider-Man 2. I mean, I love Spider-Man 1, and I came out of Spider-Man 2 kind of angry. I'm like, wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was like, man, you guys just really just dropped the ball on everything I liked about
There was a lot I didn't like about 2, but overall I really liked it.
Honestly, 2 is my favorite of the 3.
It's most people's favorite, I think.
I don't understand that.
But the only reason why it's better than 1 for me is that I hate the Green Goblin armor. Hate it.
Oh, God. It's
so
like
bad. I think
it's like a Power Ranger villain.
Retarded. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It takes me right out of it every time he's in the armor.
Yeah.
Doesn't take me out of it. Dr. Octopus didn't buy him for 1 second. It's like,
really?
rather than making him this creepy Eastern European scientist, which is good enough on its own, it was the decision was made to like, hey, let's make him like a Batman villain where he has to have some kind of tragic start. And I'm like, okay, he lost his wife, but
well, that wasn't actually in the original script.
I can believe that.
He did
Please
not have a wife.
Explain that to me.
In fact,
he was hooked on Mary Jane.
He was hooked on Mary Jane. He
Well,
kept asking her out.
Okay.
In fact, he's dating her at one point.
Whoa.
You remember, at the beginning, Mary Jane's actually dating the son of
J.
Jonah Jameson.
Right,
who,
John
in the
Jameson.
comics
Right.
ended up becoming Man-Wolf.
Right.
Which, of course, they don't deal with at
Alfred
all in the
Molina's
movie.
a pimp, though.
Yeah.
Now, see, that would be cool. I mean, like, you're the girl you love is dating some older creepy guy. Like, how do you
if anyone's
mess with
dating
that?
Dr. Octopus, it's Aunt May. Come on.
True, but that would have been the kind of thing I'm like, whoa, this is something I got to get used to. All right,
David
it's
Lynch's
dangerous
Spider-Man 2.
Well, they wouldn't have cast Alfred Molina if they had gone with this script. I think. There's no way they would have. Come on, really?
So maybe they would have made like Tom Welling, Dr.
They would have given it
Octopus, or
to
something.
one of the guys from the OC or something.
That would have been awful.
Would have been Adrian Brody.
Justin Long would have been. Couldn't you see that?
I got you now, Spider-Man. Want to buy a Mac?
I know I was about to say. But anyway, let's talk about the Spider-Man 3 thing here, because that's what you wanted to get to.
Well, I don't want. You know what? I don't want to get to it, but it won't die. So I'm here to talk about it. If you don't like it, I understand. It's not a perfect movie. It certainly has its flaws. I just don't get the people who hate it, and I don't get the people who hate it and say Spider-Man 2 was the best. Because I've watched Spider-Man 2 a lot, and I've warmed up to it only because I thought it had better special effects and some cool action sequences. And that's about it. Everything else I watch in it just does not resonate to me. It's not Spider-Man. It's just kind of made up and put on. But when I get to 3, and not only does it have better effects, it's got way more action sequences, and it deals with things that are more Spider-Man-like. Now, I will say that it's kind of a kid's movie, but to me, the second one set a precedent. Like, it changed where the first one went, where it was more of a kid's kind of superhero movie. So by the time the third one came along, I'm like, okay, it's already with this sensibility, so I'm going with it.
What did you like about Spider-Man 3? I mean, I'll say, get out of the way, say I liked it too. Well, what did you like, or what did you love about it?
Let me say this, because it's often brought up how Sam Raimi didn't want to put Venom in the movie. I mean, it's clearly like, it's almost like it's 2 movies put together. There was a Sandman movie.
There was too much.
And I don't agree with the too much. I don't get that too much.
I don't agree with the too much.
Because too often I watch movies and they're anemic. There's like not enough going on. Yeah. Now for me, one of the things I loved about Spider-Man 3, there was so much going on. I was constantly getting more and more. And as far as Venom goes, I hate Venom. I've never liked Venom except
and Raimi.
yeah. I'm with Raimi. Except the one thing I can't say about Venom is I like when he first came on. Yeah. I love Venom's origin. I love how he started with the black suit, and the black suit took on its own life with a guy who hated him.
They made him into a Punisher. They tried to make him into a Punisher.
Yeah. What they did with Venom after the first story, but Venom was the only. See, the thing about Spider-Man is Spider-Man's got a great rogues gallery, but he's really only got 2 A-list villains, and that's Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin.
The rest of them are kind of clowns.
Everybody else are B-list. I mean, he beats their asses with not much trouble. Those are only 2 guys who gave him problems and even got into his personal life.
What about the Spot?
The what?
Who?
The Spot?
Jason, come on, give me a break.
Ringmaster?
I mean, those guys like the Rocket Racer.
Let's talk about the Rocket Racer. What about the Prowler?
I always rooted for Mephisto. I always wanted him to do better. I'm like, that's cool stuff you got going on there. You're a cool villain. It's too bad you're completely incompetent.
What about Big Wheel?
The only
You're overlooking Big Wheel.
The only Spider-Man villain who was in between an A-list and B-list is Venom. Now, you don't start out having, okay, I'm going to fight an A-list villain in the first movie and an A-list villain in the second movie, and the third movie, I'm going to drop down to B-list. You can't do that. Things have to escalate.
Should have been Sinister Six.
Yeah, it was either go Sinister Six or Venom. I mean, Venom was the natural choice. Yeah. As much as Sam Raimi didn't want to do Venom, it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but yeah, you kind of had to. You were in that corner.
Yeah,
and,
I can definitely see that.
And what I also see, and you know what this could have been, it could have been two separate movies, and maybe 2 really good movies that we would have had to wait 8 years for. I'm fine not having to wait that long and getting both of them sandwiched together in one movie.
Of course, in my dream universe, there was, between Spider-Man 2 and 3, there was the Secret Wars movie.
Sure.
Where Spider-Man got the symbiote in the first place.
He whips X-Men ass when he gets his new costume.
Yeah, every hero in the Marvel Universe is in it. Yeah, that was my dream. I still have that dream.
I realize the thing that's going to come up over and over is people going like, well, I just hated the whole dance sequence and how when he became bad, he turned into an emo kid. Maybe you people never read Spider-Man or you don't get this from the movies. Peter Parker is the ultimate good guy. The most evil he could become is an emo kid. Or for him, even for me, I gotta say, like the idea of just sticking it to my ex-girlfriend by showing her up at her place of business in front of everybody, whether by dancing or whatever, that would be it. That would be the ultimate. Any more than that would not have been true to the character. And totally all of you love that sequence in Spider-Man 2 with raindrops keep falling on my head. Well, him dancing down the street like James Brown, it was just a parallel of that.
It was so Raimi, first off.
Yeah.
It was right, it was like, really? Y'all didn't see this as being like the other stuff you love that
yeah.
Raimi has done? And it was comedy.
It was
fucking comedy. Why does no one see that?
People took that seriously, like, oh, that's so stupid. It's like, yeah, that's what he does. Yeah. That's what fit in this scene. It was funny.
Yeah, I thought that whole sequence was hysterical, but everyone keeps bringing that up. It's like, guys, I don't even know what to say.
I think
that's how I feel too. Like I don't know what to say.
I think it's my intense hatred of emo kids that causes me to hate that scene because I think that they should be hunted for sport. And I immediately start rooting for J. Jonah Jameson.
The most
at that
depressed
point.
game.
Right.
Go ahead, man. You'll be doing me a favor.
All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm never going to talk about it again. Nobody bring it up to me. Sorry you didn't get it.
I think Raimi pulled it off. I think he managed to make these things that is crowded. I mean, it's crowded, but it flows and it works. I think a lot of people were confused by it, which is natural given the state of America.
Sure. But I wouldn't walk around bragging that, like, I didn't understand that Spider-Man movie. It's like, dude, that's not the kind of thing you want people to know, that you couldn't understand a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Now, I could see if you're talking about, like, a Ghost in the Shell or something, which really is really complicated, but really? Spider-Man 3? You didn't understand?
Ghost in the Shell is like watching Primer.
Yeah, exactly, like Primer. Like, if you don't understand Primer, I totally understand where you're coming from. Or Pi, sure.
Yeah.
I can see why you wouldn't have understood that. It's really complex, and even though I feel like I understood it, maybe
maybe you don't. Yeah, it'd be easy to have a conversation with what's that, Aronofsky and go like, oh wow, I didn't get that movie at all.
It's about what?
Well, okay, GoldenEye, a great James Bond movie, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And it came out, it did well, but they were like, yeah, but we talked to audiences, and they thought the plot was too complicated.
What?
And I was like, really? GoldenEye you thought was too complicated? And so what we got 2 really shitty James Bond movies right after that were really dumbed down.
The only good James Bond movies from Brosnan are the first one and the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
I didn't even watch the last one.
Die Another Day, a lot of people hate it, which is beyond me, because it's a love letter to all the James Bond films that have come before.
I really like that one a lot. Yeah, you're right. It's a total love letter. people got turned off by the invisible car.
Oh, right. I did
And
see
I'm like,
that
look,
one.
if
Yeah,
you let
I saw
like
that.
one, extreme gag or, whatever stunt throw you off a movie, maybe you shouldn't watch movies anymore.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be watching James Bond.
Exactly.
Films. Really? A James Bond thing? You went, that's not really realistic. Where do you draw the line in James Bond films? What's plausible and what's not?
See, that's the thing, is that the novels actually were pretty realistic.
Oh, yeah.
as I
Yeah,
recall.
but almost
not
none of the
films.
movies
Yeah.
have anything to do with the books.
Yeah.
Really.
From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
It's almost a direct translation.
Yeah, I said almost none.
Right,
Dr.
right.
No
But-
is pretty close.
But it's like a rare exception where they could follow the novel exactly and it's still interesting. But most of them, like, not only are they realistic, but they're short.
I think
It'd
Wayne
be a
Newton
quick
needs
movie.
to be a supervillain in more films.
that would
I
be
just wanna-
awesome. I agree. More Vegas supervillains. Is Tom Jones still alive?
Oh,
anyone?
He
Tom
is.
Jones is a supervillain? Hell yeah.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Let's do that.
Yeah, no, because there's this inherent cheesiness. You know what? Who would be great as supervillain? Elton John. That's what I'm saying right now. Elton John is a supervillain.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
Totally.
get
He would have
behind
made a
that.
great Dr. Octopus.
Okay,
He would have been after
granted.
Mary Jane then.
That's true. He would have been after Flash Thompson.
Oh, I thought you were after you gonna rape that guy? Well, go for it, dude. Hey, get an arm in there for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of hentai possibilities with Doc Ock. But moving on. So
okay.
who do you guys think would be the next Spider-Man villain? Who should they use in a episode 4?
Sinister Six?
Sinister Six, because then you could really do. I mean, they want just a Spider-Man action film with a minimum of the other storyline.
Sure.
That's one I could see where everyone would go, okay,
Okay.
actually, Sinister Six sounds really
Okay.
cool.
Okay, The Watchmen.
The Watchmen movie. Not the book, but the movie.
Right, the movie.
and see.
Wow, I don't think I could pick a director I think is more wrong for this project than Zack Snyder.
I can see that.
I mean, his movies, I mean, you talk about style over substance. I mean, that's all 300. 300 might as well have been an animated cartoon, if you ask me. So now he's adapting the most intellectual superhero graphic novel of all time.
300 should have been a commercial for Coppertone
Yeah, or the Navy. I mean, I'm sorry, the Marines.
or the YMCA.
Yeah, that's true.
Just say the Village People. For that.
I mean, well, you got to admit, it is the greatest gay porn ever.
Oh yeah, no, which that being
Well,
said,
Martin, talk to me afterwards. And
I don't have anything to compare it to. I don't
liar.
know about you guys,
You
but
liar.
no, I like 300 for what it is, and even when I've read the Frank Miller graphic
Sure.
novel of it, and I said, you know what, this is actually. It's kind of shallow too, just like the movie is, but it's real pretty.
Right.
And the movie's real pretty. It's
Right.
very well done for what it is, but Hollywood doesn't understand that Frank Miller and Alan Moore aren't the same person.
Right.
That they don't have the same fan base.
Right.
They couldn't be more different as
Yeah.
writers. Go ask the Wachowskis. They figured it out.
Like Alan
Yeah.
Moore actually respects women.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't call Miller a genius. I would, however, say that about Alan Moore.
True.
He's that crazy, fracked up Jesus that you're just like. He looks like a homeless guy.
He
Yeah,
looks
he
like
does.
Captain Caveman.
Yeah, he looks
Yes.
like Captain Caveman, and he's freaky.
And he's like a chaos magician like Grant Morrison or something like that. He like practices chaos magic. Or
Which doesn't surprise me.
Maybe that's just publicity or whatever. I don't know.
That's
What-
his agent saying, "Oh yeah, this will be great for you to say you practice chaos magic."
Right. It's-
It makes me think of Mark Steven Johnson, who did Daredevil, and then later he gets a shot to do Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And it's like, this guy, you know what? He might know what superheroes look like, but he doesn't know. He's going to make the kind of movie that's going to make people go like, "Oh yeah, I told you comics were for kids."
Right. I think they should have given like Robert Rodriguez Ghost Rider with
Yeah.
someone.
Oh, dude, my whole theory with Ghost Rider is that if Robert Rodriguez had directed it, he could have directed the exact same movie, and people would have gone like, "Oh, that he made such a fun movie. You could tell he had such a great time. He knew what he was doing. He did that on purpose."
The script is so
Yeah.
unbelievably bad.
I think they should do more superhero films in period. Like, I think Ghost Rider should have been a 70s dirty horror film.
I would love to see
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
go about the context of
That would have been
starting to do
cool.
movies. Like, I mean, like we talked about last week, The New Frontier. I mean, if you're going to do JLA people,
And I think New Frontier actually showed everyone that that's the way it can be done. Because I think, like, Fantastic Four should have been done like Down with Love.
Oh,
You know,
that's
it
totally,
should have been-
that was my idea for that. Like, look, you're going to do Fantastic Four, set it in the 60s when science was new, and they
Yeah.
believed all these things could be done.
yeah, I mean, they obviously you want to have a strong comic element to that. Like,
Yeah.
not comics, but comic funny.
Yeah.
To Fantastic Four, and they just didn't get it at all. Right.
No.
you can still have fun action and have that quirky, goofy, pastel-colored world, where everything was optimistic and everything, and you could still have just a fun action movie.
Yeah.
Watchmen's yet another script that Gilliam got screwed on.
And that is a period piece as well, and
Yeah.
which is I don't know how they're going to translate that, being that it's so inherent to the Red Scare of the early '80s.
Oh, yeah. Well, and all anybody can talk about is like, wow, have you seen how good it looks? That's all Snyder can talk about. Like, you got to see it. It looks great. It's like, dude, this is a book that's not about how good it looks.
Right.
Okay, so that's my take on Watchmen. It's kind of like, well, we'll see, but I have no faith he's going to pull it off correctly.
Yeah, it is far too rich to have the rock video guy.
Exactly.
Now, this is a weird question. Two people asked me about Kevin Smith's Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which I know next to nothing about.
Oh,
Who
neither
gives
do
a good
I.
goddamn?
Well-
That's what I know.
Hey, Smith, when are you going to make another good movie? Oh, wait, I don't think I care anymore.
Exactly. I mean, really, you know what? When he bounced back with Chasing Amy, I thought, man, this guy, he's got it now. He's going to go on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
And he's made one dud after the next. I've
Clerks 2
completely
was
given
an
up on it.
abomination, man. I am
Which
sorry.
now? Clerks 2? I can't believe the amount of people I read saying, I love Clerks 2. There's actually a community on Spill that's which do you think is better, Clerks or Clerks 2? And I was like, I did a spit take.
Oh. Here's what Clerks was. It's like, you've got these guys in high school, and they're kind of the screw-ups, and you're hanging out with them, or maybe you were on the outside, and you always wanted to hang out with them, and they were funny, they were losers, but they always made funny references and funny jokes. They were always getting into trouble. And then flash forward 15 years later, and you run into these guys at the pool hall or something, and they're still doing the same old shit with the same old jokes, and you're like, wow, these guys are losers.
There's a cycle to that. And there's the knowing the guys when you're, all young and they're losers and they're kind of funny. And then you bump into them later and it's kind of sad, but it makes you feel good that they're back there and you're ahead.
Like watching Cops.
But then you bump into them later again and they're just fucking annoying.
I like Kevin Smith's writing in comics.
Sure.
I think the stuff he's done in comics is great. I think that
Yeah.
anytime he does just hey, here's Kevin Smith talking about stuff, like his podcasts are funny as hell. They're really well done. They're really insightful. They're really enjoyable. But I don't know if the guy's got another script in him.
Yeah, he is one of those guys that, you'll see him talk and you'll like him.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of personality. I like this guy. I really want to support his next project.
Because he's one of us.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you see it, just like, sure did want to support it.
Yeah.
I wish it was any good.
I mean, I talk smack, but what have I written? Nothing. It's like maybe if I wrote a script, they'd be like, man, this is Clerks 3.
Here's the thing. He's one of those directors that was, cultivated by the Weinsteins, and they gave him too many responsibilities, too much leeway, like Robert Rodriguez. Kevin Smith, great writer, poor director. Robert Rodriguez, great director, poor writer.
Yeah.
I would challenge you on great, but go ahead for the sake of argument.
Yeah, I think Robert Rodriguez, could do excellent directing job when he's given someone else's material.
How often has that happened?
Very infrequently. I mean, like Sin City.
Right. Oh, here's my thing with Rodriguez, and I've said it before. Cyrus, I know you're sick of hearing me say it.
No, let's hear it.
The entire Rodriguez catalog is, I'm going to do an homage to a bad period in cinema.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to take these bad films I love, and I'm going to spend 11 times as much as they did to make a film just like that.
Wait, are we talking about Tarantino?
I'm talking about Rodriguez and every goddamn thing he's ever made.
Except Tarantino does it and makes it work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or at least he did. There was a time when he did.
Yeah. Death Proof, not so much. One of the books that Tarantino was talking about adapting, of course, he talks about doing, he's always thinking about doing this, whatever materializes. But 40 Lashes Less One is a very weird Western about marathon runners out in the Arizona desert. And it's a Western. Yeah, it's weird. Good book. But yeah, I can see where a lot of the stuff wouldn't really translate.
Now, I want to see more people do Joe Lansdale.
Exactly.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, there's a guy with real talent.
Joe Lansdale.
Anytime you read anything by him, you're like, wow, this would make a great movie, too.
He is not well. That guy is demented. I mean, have you read his Jonah Hex stuff?
Oh, yeah. It is brilliant.
God.
Well, they're making that. The guys from Crank are directing the Lansdale era, the supernatural Jonah
Really?
Hex stuff.
Really?
That's after Crank 2 and then I think there's one other project.
You got to get the important stuff out of the way.
And apparently they're really, really, really into getting this.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is because one of the arcs in the Lansdale Jonah Hex was, we're getting really obscure here.
Yeah,
for the
we're
listeners.
losing people now.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But they were making fun of the Winter Brothers.
Oh, that's right.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
there were
yeah.
there
Yeah,
were
Johnny Winter.
lawsuits and everything. So
The guys who did that song Frankenstein.
yeah.
And Edgar Winter is a Scientologist.
Is he really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's over. That's getting edited out then.
Exactly.
We-
I'm surprised Joe Lansdale's even alive anymore. I'm surprised the Thetans haven't swooped down from their spaceship.
Yeah, they don't have as much power as they used to. You know? It's because not enough people believe anymore. They didn't clap their hands
they
to
like?
save Tinker Xenu.
Wow, we have really gotten obscure.
We do that.
Meanwhile, the listeners are talking like, but what about that new movie with Jennifer Garner?
Is there a new movie with
Is there
Jennifer
one?
Garner?
I don't know. Isn't there always?
I don't
No,
know.
she doesn't.
She's
She doesn't make that many movies. Actually,
She's taking a break right now to take care of her kids, and I think that's why Ben Affleck hasn't been acting as much either. I mean,
And because no one wants to
we
see
should
him.
be grateful, sure, but
hey man, come on.
Gone
The-
Baby
the,
Gone?
The guy made Gone Baby Gone.
I
He's
know.
golden in my book
I'll
right
hand
now.
it to him right now. I want to see what you direct next, but I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to see your next starring in film. That's all.
He was good in Smoking Aces.
I like
for the little time he was on.
I like
Oh,
him
yeah,
when
yeah.
he's tongue in cheek.
Oh
when
yeah,
he tries to be.
He's got a
serious.
really good sense of humor.
Yeah, he does, and I do. He's one of those guys like Kevin Smith. And
Exactly.
he's friends with him. I like him when he's not taking himself serious.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. All right. Another question we got was, you guys, have you either one of you even seen Spaced?
Oh,
No.
I've seen some of the episodes on BBC America.
Well, they're doing an American remake of it.
Okay, and I can understand everybody who's like trepidatious about it and going like, this is going to suck. I would only submit to you the American version of The Office.
Yeah. I haven't seen Spaced, but I know everyone was skeptical about the translation of The Office, and that is a brilliant damn show.
It's the best sitcom that's ever been on TV.
And one would hope that they're going to take some lessons
Next
from
to Family
that.
Ties, I concur.
Next to Family Ties.
Next to
really.
Family Ties.
So Michael J. Fox was your favorite character on there then, the young Republican.
Yeah, but actually, yes, big time. I wanted to get a Richard Nixon poster in my bedroom, but to be honest, I was a little bit more Skippy Handelman.
It could work. Who knows? I mean, we like to get all, oh my God, end of the world when they're making a remake of something. But you know what?
Remakes are cover songs; they don't affect the original.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you care? It's like I remember I was the first to get all up in arms with the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I was like, I can't believe they're remaking this, and then I saw it, and it's like
wow, it kicks ass.
wow, this kicks all kinds of ass. And that's kind of what I think. That was the moment in time I went.
I'm waiting for a
this is really
remake.
stupid for me to get all out of shape.
Waiting
It's
for a
fun to
remake
do
of
it, but-
Yeah.
remake of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Except make it good. Like, give it to Steven Soderbergh. That's what he does. He takes mediocre films and, remakes them into good films.
That's true. I
Yes.
mean, I think about when Tim Burton was remaking The Planet of the Apes. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's a classic. You don't touch that. It's one of the greatest science fiction movies of all time. He makes it, and it's such a colossal piece of shit that there's no confusing his with the original. Bow your head.
You know you're never going to watch his Planet of the Apes.
Exactly.
again. Even if it was, hungover as hell on a Sunday afternoon on the couch and the family's out of town, you would still rather watch sports.
You would
than
use
that.
your tongue to crawl to the TV and change the channel.
ladies, if you're listeing, Cyrus actually is quite capable of pulling himself to the TV with
I
his
can
tongue.
do 50 tongue push-ups. Okay, maybe not 50, 35. But anyway, Max Payne film. Anybody? You don't really play video games.
No. Now, as much as I don't play video games, Max Payne was my game.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, can anybody say redundant?
Yes.
Max Payne is a video game based on a fake direct-to-DVD movie. Why would you go and make an actual movie of it?
Yeah, it's
that
like
makes
making
no
a
goddamn
movie
sense.
of Grand Theft Auto. It's just these are all knockoffs of movies already.
Yeah.
It's like the
Or
producers.
Halo.
The producers.
There was no point.
Hairspray.
Well, Hairspray was brilliant.
I really liked it, but still, it's my thing is that's what's happening now. It's all this. They need a new word like meta something.
True.
For what's going on. It's
called crap.
You know what? I could almost buy with Hairspray in as much as the Broadway production, the musical, was just so popular. yet it's only on Broadway. There's no way for the country to see it.
Yeah.
So, hey, we make a movie, and now everybody can see it. There's been a long tradition of doing that with very popular Broadway musicals.
Yes.
But this, it's like, guys,
So
come on.
how does Hairspray compare to
The
to
original
Max
John
Payne?
Waters film? Oh,
To
to Max
Max-
Payne.
to-
No, only
No,
in the
I
sense
mean-
that it's like it started as a movie, and then it turned into a musical, and then they made a movie of the musical
Oh,
of the movie.
okay. I
See what I'm
gotcha.
saying? It's like, it's going like,
See, I always
really?
thought it was a musical first.
No,
I
no.
didn't know that.
No, it was a
Okay.
John Waters film.
Okay. I thought it was a musical with 2 film
No,
adaptations.
and the original film is
Okay.
great, too. I really like both versions of Hairspray.
Sure.
I do, because they are different enough that it works.
Yeah.
But, that being said, I don't have an issue because of you could do anything. It's just like remakes. You could do it and do it right. If they turn Max Payne into a kick-ass movie, great. I just don't really see how they're going to do it. I mean, it makes me think of Hitman, which was
Right.
just so awful. Oh, my God. Hey, Mark Wahlberg, more power to you, brother. I know you want to be an action hero and have your own franchise. I think you're a capable actor. You're definitely buff enough for this type of stuff.
It's Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Didn't he already make this movie? Shooter?
Yeah, I know. Are you actually a Spawn the Movie fan?
Are you kidding me?
No, because you like bad horror movies.
I know,
true.
but I have my limits.
Okay, bad horror movies. Jason, just so you know, Jason brought over to my house for my roommate to watch this bag of videotapes from like the 80s.
They're awesome.
Of some of the...
Shall I grab them and read the titles
Sure,
off?
sure.
They're
go ahead.
classic. Hang on.
Some of the most embarrassing, the movies that even when I was 12, dying for science fiction content in the video store, I'd look at it and go, nah.
Okay, here's one starring Sybil Danning, Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, Sybil Danning and Lou Ferrigno. That's
Sybil
all I got to
Danning.
hear.
The market
Sybil Danning
quality.
showing off her in Howling 2. The 7 Magnificent Gladiators with Lou Ferrigno giving a decidedly constipated look on the cover. Equalizer 2000. That's a gem
Who's
right
in
there.
that? Anyway, it looks like
It looks like the
who's the
Village People and the Dreadnought. Time Troopers.
Yeah, which I've heard has nothing to do with time or troopers. Yeah.
Escape 2000 starring Steve Railsback.
Now, that I heard
Helter
was
Skelter,
the best of the
Steve
stack.
Anything without a number in the title?
Alien Warrior. That one's for you, Leon. Alien Warrior.
Because
I don't...
he got
I want the one with
bro.
Sybil Danning.
Eliminators,